Alrighty. So we're going to then start what patterns are and the structure of the language. So this is a graphic depiction of a pattern language, with the dots being patterns, and you can see that they're kind of organized loosely in tiers. Some vary at the top, some vary at the bottom, according to the scale at which that pattern affects that design, and how that design can be related to higher patterns. So best by an example, let's say a house, a single dwelling might be part of a cluster of houses, might be part of a neighborhood, might be part of a municipality, might be part of a global community. And you can see that the connections between the patterns are just as important as the patterns themselves. And essentially, they're all connected in a web. So you should be able to take one pattern and relate that to others of its similar variety, but those then are related to other types of diverse approaches and considerations for that entire project. So the patterns form a whole network. Remember that whatever we do with those patterns, they're always hearkening back to, you should be able to trace them back to one of our topics here. I just wanted to throw that in again. Or another way to look at the pattern language is to consider it like a cloud of dots, each dot being a pattern. And so you're in this three-dimensional shape, and it's sort of tiered. At the top, you've got larger scale patterns having to do with regions and neighborhoods. In the middle, you've got communities, building clusters, and at the bottom, you have individual buildings, and all the way down to details, like windows and doors. And so then it's all beginning to form a cohesive expression. And then these are connected, as they were in that first graphic, up and down, across, through, and sideways. So out of Christopher Alexander then, if we look at how these patterns are related to each other, under neighborhood, for example, you can have these particular patterns. And they can vary from cars to people to boundaries to common land to built environment, so that these patterns all have something to say according to the timeless way of building, to reach that quality without a name. So that the more patterns you have that are alive, that you're expressing, the more alive that project will be. And the more it will become a part of nature and be timeless itself. However, it's also important to realize that the pattern language is not static, and its patterns will change from age to age, from culture to culture, because each person, when they do a project, is interpreting those patterns in their own way. And that's the magic of a pattern language. It will never be static. You can never say, this is the only way to do this thing. It can always be interpreted in a million different ways. But still, we want to aim for that quality without a name. All right, so this was a brief one. This is the end of the second TED Bite. Alrighty, and we're actually going to take a very quick early break.